Thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show. My name is Patricia. Please press like, subscribe, and share. And share this audio with someone who you think need it. Okay, so because we're fixing to get into my teaching is going to really get into some heavy duty stuff next year, I thought you need to know a little bit about me. So this is part two. And I'm trying to remember things. Like, I can't remember things in order, obviously, that happened in my life, but I'm trying to bring up the more, the really important things that affected my spiritual life. Okay, so when I was in my 30s, I used to travel around different places in the U.S., and I had a radio. I used to come on the radio, and I would go to different cities and do not spiritual, do like what you call psychic readings. That's what I would do. So one year I was coming back. I had been gone down to Louisiana and Texas for a few weeks. My friend was keeping my daughter. And one of my daughters, the other daughter, was over my mom's house. So that my car was messed up and it needed brakes. So when I went to pick up my daughter, my friend said, be careful because it was raining. And, it could cause me to lose control of the car if I'm speeding because, again, the brakes were messed up. So we were on the freeway, left there, going on the freeway driving. And all of a sudden, the last thing I really remember clearly was I put my feet on the brake, and the next thing I know, my car had just lost control. I was on the expressway, so the divider, that divides you from going left and right on the freeway, it was a bridge there. I had actually hit that concrete wall. My car hit the concrete wall. Now, I was in the center lane. Let me start off telling you that. I was in the center lane. Some type of way I jumped to the left lane, and then I hit that cement wall. My car turned upside down. I remember only could see up, I remember screaming, help me, like that. My car came tumbling down. It hit the cement wall on the right side. So it's like it jumped all the way on the right side. It hit that cement wall, turned around, and just was kind of bouncing up and down in the air. And then it was back in the middle lane, and it was facing behind me. The car had just turned, just facing behind me, still. Then I swear to you, this is exactly what happened. I was in a stop position in the middle lane facing behind me. It's like a hand reached down and picked my car up and turned my car towards the right, going in the still the center lane, but going in the front direction, in the other direction. And it just stopped. I heard a lady running up to the car saying she saw everything. I saw everything. Nobody survived in that car. Everybody's dead in that car. When they came up to me, my daughter was in the back seat. We both did not have any injuries whatsoever. My daughter just had been bouncing around in the back seat, and I was there in the driver's seat. No injuries. The people were so shocked that we were even still alive. And they opened the door and was like, oh my God, the lady said, oh, I can't believe you're alive. I seen the same, everything. And then she went on to say what she has, saw. I was so nervous. I was just so nervous, but I knew that God had taken control of that car. I knew that, the way it was bouncing and the way it just turned around and set going in the right direction. It was the weirdest thing. I sat there for a minute because, again, I was so nervous. And do you know I ended up driving myself home? Because I was very close to my house by then. I ended up driving myself home. But I could never forget that because to me that was a supernatural experience that had happened. And again, no injuries. Now, another time I was 17, maybe 18. I was 18 years old. I was coming from the store, and this man said, I will help you. I will take you, where you going, flirting with me. He said, well, I'll run you on home. And I said, well, I'm going to the store. He said, he'll run me home. I said, well, actually, I'm going over my friend's house. He said, well, okay, I'll take you there. So something I hesitated, but then I went on and got in the car. When I got in the car, the man was going in the direction he turned down this alley, which was not the right direction. I said, this is not the right direction. He said, oh no, you could get it down here. I could turn right up here. I'm going to turn up here now. The apartment is right up here. He got midway the alley and stopped, pulled out a knife, put the knife around my neck and said, bitch, or B, excuse me. I don't know if I could say bitch on here, but anyway, B, suck my thing, I hollered off again like I had did that with that car accident. Because the knife was around my throat and he was trying to push my head down in his lap. I hollered, help me. And it's like Hercules filled my body. I'm not lying to you. I took the knife in the palm of my hand and took it from around my neck. I opened the door to try to get out. I didn't see anybody there. He snatched me back in, put the knife back around my neck. But I was, literally, it's like Hercules had taken control of my body. And I took the knife again in the palm of my hand. I took the knife and pulled it from around my neck. When I opened the door, this time it was two men, and I screamed. They were like in the back, on the right-hand side in the back, like they were burning something. And I said, screamed, help me. And they ran over, and the man drove on off. When I went up to my friend's apartment, and I was telling them, I was so nervous, telling them what had happened, one of my friends screamed. She said, look at her hand. My hand had cut marks all in it. The palm of my hand was all cut up. You hear me? Wasn't bleeding at all. No blood came out. But it was cut marks all in the palm of both of my hands, like the left and the right hands. It was cut I can't even, but it was just slices, all in my hand. And after a period of time, I don't really remember how long it was. After a period of time, the feeling came back in my hand because I had no feeling in my hand. All the feeling had been taken out of my hand. When the feeling came back in my hand, I remember my hands were hurting so bad. And then I had to get medical attention and all the other stuff. But the point is that something which we know is God took control of my body, gave me the strength of Hercules to hold the knife in the palm of my hand. And when it was in the palm of my hand, I didn't feel a thing. But it took me, out of that situation. So I began to think, maybe these people are right. You know what I mean? That's telling me about, I was anointed and all that. Because even when that had happened with the knife, I think I had only went to one reader in my life. But I still had went, and she had said, the same thing about the anointing. And I thought, maybe God really is, watching over me, or something is going on here. I remember I had heard about past life regression. I went to do past life regression like when I was in my early 20s. But when the facilitator got ready to take me back to past lives, I went to in between lives. And it looked like I was in a boardroom because it was a long table. This man came up to me, And he said to me, I'm who you call Gabriel, or who you all call Gabriel. I think he said you all, like he was talking about the earth. That I'm who you call Gabriel. He said to me, you're not supposed to tell. And I said, tell what? Because I didn't know what he talking about. So I'm like, tell what? And he just kept telling me I wasn't supposed to tell. The facilitator was asking me what was he saying and, all that, and wanted me to keep talking. And he just continued to tell me that I wasn't supposed to tell. But I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. So the facilitator really wanted to know what it was that I wasn't supposed to tell. So he told me to come back in a week and he wouldn't charge me. So this time I came back because he was really curious as what it was I wasn't supposed to tell. When he put me under hypnosis, I just started laughing hysterically. I couldn't stop laughing. And when he was asking questions like, what was it I wasn't supposed to tell, I would just laugh harder. I mean, I was like, but the thing is I couldn't make myself stop laughing. So it's like a part of me knew that it wasn't me that was making me laugh. I was uncontrollably laughing. And with each question, I would laugh harder and harder. So whatever it was I wasn't supposed to tell, I didn't tell because I was laughing so hard. So the only thing that kind of came out of that before we started, what he told me, the facilitator, was that the only thing he could get out of this, because I wasn't laughing, I was laughing, was that I came into this earth with my with the fifth dimension open, my Christ consciousness open. That made sense to me because it's things that I hadn't been taught about different things, or I didn't know, but I knew. You know what I mean? Like if you ask me something about the Bible, it's like I could go right there to the light and get the full information, what was truly the truth, and tell you. But yet, I didn't never knew that myself. This is the first time I'm hearing it when I'm seeing it and telling it to you. You know what I mean? When I'm going to the light to get the information, that's the first time I didn't heard that information. So I had this ability to go to the light and get this information. So when he said my fifth dimension was open, that just really made sense to me, because I'm thinking, okay, that's probably why then that this information, it comes so easy for me. Okay, so we never did find out what it was I wasn't supposed to tell. I've always been a person who really loved Bible stories. I used to watch biblical pictures every single year. They would come on just like I didn't see them the year before. I wouldn't talk on the phone. Or any biblical story, I wouldn't talk. If you call me you knew not to call Patricia when the biblical stories is on, because I just watching it like it's the first time I ever watched it, and I really enjoyed it, and I really believed in it. I truly believed what the Bible was saying. I remember one time a friend of mine said to me that the Bible stories weren't true. And I was like, why would you say that? That's not true. They are true. And, he didn't even want to continue that conversation because I was getting really agitated. Like, why would you say that? And I never had that conversation, never came up again between me and him or anybody else. So I was a strong believer in the Bible and everything that it taught. Okay, so I better end this and pick up part 3. Thank you for tuning in to The Patricia Show.